Guys, so it is just after 10 o'clock on May 16th. It is Thursday night, and I figured I would do an impromptu weekend reading vlog because I've honestly kind of missed doing the weekly reading vlogs, but I had originally stopped them because they got to be a little much over the summer when I had gotten back into school during last fall. I loved coming back and doing them in April with the House Cupathon vlogs. It was a lot of fun, and so I figured that, especially since today there's been some changes going on in my life that I feel like I should update you guys on, it's a good time for me to do a little reading vlog. So first things first, I guess, with the weird uploading schedule that I've had the last couple weeks, it's just been coming down to the fact that I'm really tired a lot of the time coming home from work, and so I don't really have the energy to work on videos. And then this past weekend was Mother's Day, and so I didn't have really time to record on Sunday because I basically was back at my parents' house all day and didn't get back here until like 7 o'clock in the evening, and I had to work the next morning, so I didn't want to like put a bunch of energy into making videos when I hadn't even seen Robert at all during the day. And so I just kind of wanted to sit and relax, which was why I didn't really have any videos come out this week until my reading journey video that I did with my mom for Mother's Day, and then my childhood video. So then now moving on to kind of some ideas about what's been going on recently. So I've been working obviously this past week. On Tuesday though was sick. Wasn't feeling very well, so I didn't go to work. I recently got in touch with a friend of mine who works for a company that works for a really big, like, he's kind of like a middleman. Like, he kind of finds talent or candidates, basically is what he calls them, to send off to this client he has for work, basically. And it's copywriting in a way. The title is more of like a literature specialist / copywriter, because I'll be doing a lot of like reading of literature and things of that nature within a certain context, and some of the work I will be doing will also be copywriting, which, given the tense of my speaking, I had a meeting today with a team leader, basically, who is new, but had heard a lot of good things about me because this was a company that I had interviewed with in January and didn't get the position that I wanted at the time. And I think it came down to the fact that there was somebody that was competing against me that had more experience, and I was fresh out of college. But apparently they liked me a lot when I first interviewed, that since then have been talking me up to this new team leader. And basically this meeting I had, which I thought was kind of more of an informal interview kind of thing, was pretty much me meeting my boss and her offering me the job, which was really awesome. So I am very excited because this is a job I've honestly been waiting for now over 4 months, basically. And I had first heard about this position specifically 2 months ago in March, basically just after I started the job that I currently have. And I was like, listen, I can't do it now. I just accepted this other position, and I've only just had my first day. So I'm not really in the market at the moment, but if I kind of something happens, I will let you know. So tomorrow I'm going into work. I'm giving them my 2 weeks notice, and hopefully about June 3rd should be my first day at this new job that I'm actually really excited for, and is actually something that I'm going to be doing that has a huge impact on my professional career and actually something to do with the degree that I got. So I'm very, very excited. And again, it's a company I've been wanting to work for now for several months, and I'm very glad that I was able to find a position here, because when I had interviewed for the other position in January and I didn't receive it, I was very upset. I was very, very upset because I thought that I did really well, and I think it really just came down to the fact that there was somebody that had more experience than I did, which I totally get, because it was pretty much between them and me, a fresh out of college student with no experience, or very limited experience, mind you. As far as what I'm currently working on, I am still working through so many arcs. I haven't even touched any of my random TBRs or my reread series because I've been trying to catch up on arcs that I didn't get to in April. I'm slowly making my way through, but the last few weeks have been really kind of not stressful, but I'm so tired basically from work because of the physical exertion I experience day to day that it's very hard for me to find energy to read. And it's either that or when Robert is home and he's not at work, we are basically watching something. But the book I'm currently working on is called Restorations by Charles Strickler. It is not exactly a historical fiction. It's kind of more of a literary fiction based piece that has historical elements. It's basically about this guy. I'm almost like a quarter of the way through it at this point, but the story is that there was this gangster in the 1930s that was a bank robber. I don't even know if he was really a gangster, but he was a really famous bank robber. And there was this car that he had that apparently had all these different like things added to it, and basically had hidden away so many different things like of his fortune. And when he was taken in, nobody knew where it was. Nobody knew what was in it. So people for years after had been searching for it and trying to find this fortune that he supposedly left behind. And fast forward to present day, or like 2018 basically, this gentleman named Miles basically buys this car at an auction that is supposedly really, really old. It's an old like 1928 Stutz, I think is what it is, and he buys it on a whim because he was obsessed with the car when he was younger in the 70s, and for no reason at all, with no connection to the former bank robber at all, but finds out that there are so many things in this car when they go to like possibly restore it. They find all of this stuff in there, like diamonds and an old journal and like coins and stuff that belong to this bank robber. And then with that fact comes the idea that there are people out there that are wanting to get this car for the wrong reasons, or are willing to get it by any means necessary. So there is actually a gangster who is basically trying to find the car because he believes that it is his birthright. I think he believes that it is his, like, the bank robber was like an old like relative of his, like way far back. So he believes he has to have the car by birthright and wants the fortune basically that's within it. So he's basically trying to find the car by any means necessary. So that's kind of the whole point of the story, is like you've got two different kinds of people that are after this car, and this car has so much importance because of what it was in the past. So it's not really historical fiction, but it plays on historical elements from the 1930s, and it's a lot of the focus on this really old car that has a lot of things. It's got a lot of modifications to it too that was really indicative of the person that had the car at the time. So it's really interesting so far. It's I don't know, like it's a little slow. I think it's definitely not my cup of tea, because I'm really weird about literary fiction. Basically, like there's some things where I really love. Like there are some literary fiction pieces that I absolutely love, like Jesmyn Ward's Sing Unburied Sing. There's some that I really don't care for, and I think this is one that I'm starting to not care for because it's just not that interesting to me. Like it's interesting enough to where I would like to see kind of what happens, but I think if I'm not really changed in my disposition with it by about, I don't know, I'd say probably like 40% of the way through it, because it's a quick read. It's only like 282 pages. I think if I'm not satisfied with what's going on within the next like, I don't know, like 50 pages or so, I think I'm going to DNF it. Hey guys, so it is just now about 12:17 in the afternoon. I am leaving work today. I was only scheduled till noon. It is Friday, so I have tomorrow and Sunday off from work, and I'm very excited. So as far as my reading progress for last night, I said that depending on how I was liking Restorations, the further I went into it, I may or may not DNF it. And I DNF'd it because I got probably like another 20 pages into the story, and I was just so bored of it. It was not something I was very interested in. The thing is it talks a lot about like digging up the kind of story of like where the car's from and all that stuff, and I just got to be really bored with it. And then there was also a romance flaring that I was not okay with because it just was way too forced in my opinion, and it was moving a little too quick for my taste, but there hadn't really been anything that had happened yet. They hadn't even really gone on a date. But the thing was that it was just kind of one of those things where like they met at an auction, got to know each other a little bit, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, I'm instantly like really into this person, and
no, it was very much almost like an insta-love thing for me, which I'm not okay with, and it was boring anyway, so I didn't really find much enjoyment in the insta-love, so I don't know, I just didn't care for it. So what my plan is tonight, I've got a couple things I'm going to be doing when I get home. I think I may even go get groceries with Robert tonight before he goes to work, but it's going to depend on how he's feeling, because he doesn't work tonight until 9, and then he's at work until like 5 in the morning. So I don't know if he's going to want to go to the store with me today, or if I'm going to have to go tomorrow, which I would be fine going tomorrow, to be honest. But anyway, so I think my reading plans for the night are going to be working on The Skin of Dreams, a poetry collection, so I should be able to pump through that pretty quickly. I'm a little nervous though to read it because it is a poetry collection. I am not as versed in poetry as I am in fiction, so I'm a little afraid to review it only because I feel like I'm not going to give an adequate review of it. But kind of what I did with like Rupi Kaur's The Sun and Her Flowers, I'm going to give my overall impressions with the style and the kind of maybe imagery that's played within it, because that's pretty much all I can really give is my thoughts on the images and the usage of style that promotes a good poem in a way, because I have a hard time with discussing poetry because I am not a poet. I've tried for many years to be a poet, and I am just not capable of creating something that small on that kind of a scale and having it feel adequate compared to like my fiction work. I like reading poetry, don't get me wrong. I love watching slam poetry too, but I have a hard time like discussing it in great detail unless I know enough about the poet, if that makes sense. Like if I know some of the major themes that the poet uses, I have a better chance of discussing them eloquently than I do with somebody I've never read from before. So this is going to be very weird for me. Then after that, I'm probably going to finish that today because it's not going to take me that long to read through the entirety of it. So I think my plan is that once I finish that, depending on what time of the day it is and what's going on tonight, I may start my next book, which will be Shah and the End of Time, because I have the arc for Shah and the Song of Death, which came out on April 30th, but I haven't gotten to it, and I had not read Shah and the End of Time yet, but had the physical copy of it and have been wanting to read it for a long time. I just haven't had the chance to read it. So I think that once I finish The Skin of Dreams and I get my review out for it, or, you know, whatever happens tonight, whatever I decide to do, I may get to that one tonight and get through a good part of it at least before I go to bed tonight. And I think, depending, like I said, if Robert wants to go grocery shopping with me or not, I may be getting up early tomorrow to get some stuff done, because I'm going to be cleaning the apartment. I'm going to be getting stuff organized, stuff like that. So I don't know, I'm gonna see what's gonna happen, and I'm kind of just at a point where I'm kind of letting things happen as they happen.
Hey guys, so it is about 10 to 3 in the afternoon, and since I've been home, I've run a load of dishes, had lunch, and sat and watched some YouTube videos because I was just a little too, not tired, but while I eat, I like to watch YouTube videos, and then I kind of just went down not a bit of a hole, but like I just watched some to catch up with the videos that I follow and stuff like that. So it is now, like I said, almost 3 o'clock. Robert is still asleep and probably will be for a while, so I highly doubt we're gonna go get groceries tonight, so I'll just have to go get them tomorrow morning, which is totally fine. I really don't mind. I actually sometimes like going to the store early in the morning by myself, because if I had an audiobook, I'd be listening to that, but sometimes it's just nice just to kind of go to the store by myself and just kind of wander. I will start The Skin of Dreams by Qarnash Ali Lansana. I can't think of how to pronounce their name, but I forgot that I don't even really have it on my Kindle. It was a PDF file I had to download from NetGalley on my computer, so I have to read it on my computer. But it's a poetry collection, and it's apparently a poetry collection from 1995 to 2018. Like, it's a collection of their poems over the course of that time. So I don't know if it's more biographical, if it's more like just a collection of poems that were done over the course of that time that all have a similar theme. I don't really know, so I'm interested to see how that plays out. So, of course, at about 8:51 in the evening, when I finally get the chance to start reading The Skin of Dreams, I realized that the protected PDF, I am not able to open for some reason. It is in a file format that I don't think my computer is able to open. So I cannot read it, which sucks. So that's okay though. I'm basically going to give the feedback that, I'm not going to give feedback for, but I'm going to say that I couldn't give feedback because I was not able to access the file. So that's unfortunate, but that does give me the ability to now get started with Shah and the End of Time, which I've been wanting to read now for quite some time. So basically I've done everything else I needed to do. I've edited my childhood Let's Play video that goes out tomorrow, which I'm pretty excited about because it's a fairly short one considering my normal Sims Let's Play videos. This one's more like a 12-minute video as opposed to like the half-hour, sometimes 40-minute videos that I've been doing, but that's because I don't do a whole heck of a lot within it other than moving out my Sims Daxon and Tamika into their new home, which you guys will have seen hopefully by the time this video goes out. If not, I will leave the playlist for that down in the description. That was episode 18 that I put out, so it's been quite a journey. We're not even half done with the story. There's so much more that I want to discover with this story, and a lot is going to be coming up, I think, especially for a different coupling that is in there, David and Christine. There's going to be some things that are happening with them that I'm very excited for, because I think it's really going to affect their relationship in a lot of ways and really test their relationship, because there's a whole story with them and how they even got into the relationship in the first place. So if you want to know more about that, go and check out the series. I think tomorrow Robert and I are going to the grocery store at some point. I think we're going to do it like in the afternoon after he's gotten up because he wants to go with me. So I have some stuff I have to do tomorrow. I'm going to be cleaning the apartment when I get up tomorrow morning. I've got some other things to do. I started doing a freelance writing thing that I have to start working with just a little bit, but I don't even know how much I'm going to work with it once I start my new job, because I'm going to basically be writing all the time. And I really only just decided to get with this freelance writing thing because I thought I was going to be staying at the store that I work at for a lot longer. So I don't know how much more I'm gonna really do with this, but it's very hard to even get in this freelance writing thing, and it's a work as much as you want kind of thing. So we'll see. I think it'll depend on how much I have to work during any given week. So, but yeah, I'm gonna do something for that tomorrow, upload the childhood Let's Play video, work on my book a little bit, and yeah, gonna do some reading too. It's gonna be a busy day tomorrow. Like, my days off are busy, but they're busy doing stuff that I want to do, that I don't really get to do during the rest of the week. So it's a lot of reading and writing and working on videos and stuff like that. So and then just staying in the apartment for the most part, unless I have to go get groceries, which I do. Good morning, everyone. It is just now after 11 o'clock in the morning. Sorry if you hear the dishwasher running in the background, but I did get a little bit of cleaning done this morning. I woke up at I don't know, maybe 10:40 or so. I was gonna get up at 8, but I was really tired this morning, so I decided to sleep in a little bit. So so far this morning I have gotten the dishes taken care of, made myself a cup of coffee too, and then I cleaned the stove, swept the floor, basically put all of our pop cans and bottles and stuff into a bag to take back today when I go to the grocery store, got some of the trash taken care of, and fixed up the living room a little bit, and then mostly I'm gonna wait to do the office and the bedroom and bathroom until a little later once Robert's gotten up, so that I can get him out of there, because we basically just need to, in the bedroom, just get all of our laundry together so that we can go do laundry today, hopefully. And then I just need to clean off the sink in the bathroom, which I probably could do now. I might do it in a minute, but the office, though, is a whole other thing, because I don't spend a lot of time in the office like I want to, so I just want to do that later when I actually am going to be sitting in the office. So I was going to watch some YouTube videos this morning while I drank my coffee, but there's nothing good, or there's nothing really that interesting on right now. So I think I'm going to read some more of Shah and the End of Time. So last night I ended up getting to page 58 of it, and I really like it so far. It's very cute. I think that Roshani Chokski has a really great way of writing for a younger audience, because it's much more funny. She's a very funny style of writing, and if you follow her on any social media, she's a very goofy lady, and I really adore her. And so I really think that her personality exudes in this novel tremendously. And it's very interesting because it's dealing artist on the end of time, just like any of Rick Riordan's pieces, focus a lot on Hindu, like on a certain kind of mythology. Rick Riordan with the Percy Jackson series and the Apollo Trials had focused on Greek mythology, and then with the Magnus Chase series had focused on Norse mythology. Well, he's basically created an imprint within his brand, Rick Riordan Presents, and he has so many different other authors writing on their own mythologies from their own cultures. And Roshani Chokshi, being one of them, focuses specifically on Hindu mythology, as she is kind of more of the South Asian, possibly Indian side. I think she's Indian if I'm not mistaken, but it's really interesting. Like, I knew a little bit about Hindu mythology, mostly about Buddha, because Buddha is like a whole other thing within Hindu mythology. There's also like the idea of Buddhism, which is its own philosophy and its own kind of sets of rules and ways, but it's based in South Asia. And then I knew some of the gods because of other books that had kind of touched on them, but nothing in like real in depth. So I'm very excited because I really like where the story is going so far. I will say though, the one thing I do not like is the fact that it seems kind of very run-of-the-mill with the kind of character that's involved, where it's always a young girl who wants to impress everybody, and so she gets herself into a lot of trouble by trying to impress a bunch of people. And I don't care for that so much, but that's not because it's a bad thing, it's just because I've seen it so often that I'm kind of just tired of it. But it is something that does happen to a lot of young girls like Aru, who, you know, they move to a bunch of new schools and they always try to make friends and they always try to find ways to impress people. That's what kids do. They always try to fit in, they always try to impress people despite how it actually affects them. So it's realistic, but I'm kind of just tired of it. So I don't know, I'm kind of just irritated, but I'm starting to like the story a lot as I've gone through it so far. I think I could finish it today if I really wanted to, because it's a very quick read. It's very short. It's like 344 pages, not including the glossary in the back. So I think I could finish it today if I really set my mind to it, and like after I got done with everything today, just sat and read the rest of the day, which I probably will. But I just don't know when that's going to happen, because I highly doubt Robert is going to be getting up before 1 o'clock this afternoon, and he wanted to go to the grocery store with me, so we have to do that, and we have to do laundry, and then I still have to make dinner before he goes to work, or we have to do something for dinner at least, and then I've got some other things I need to do today, so it probably won't be until later tonight that I'll get to the book, and I may not finish it, but I'll at least be very close to it, and that'll be nice. But anyway, I just want to give you guys a quick update with how that's going. I also don't think I mentioned this at this point, but I do not have an audiobook to listen to, because I finished my audiobook for the month, and then I basically put myself on a waiting list for A Storm of Swords by George R.R. Martin, because I feel like I absorb the stories better with the audiobooks, and then like as I read it, read the physical book with it if I can. So I feel like that's going to be my best bet with it, but the waiting list on it is like I have another month before I'll ever be actually able to get it. And I don't want to start a new audiobook right now, because none of the other books I have on my TBR that are not ARCs are available on audiobook, and so I don't want to start another one right now, because I like to just have one new audiobook a month. And honestly, it's not that bad. I just listen to music instead at the beginning of work, so that's fine. But so yeah, now I don't really have anything to break up the monotony of reading the physical book. But I haven't read a physical book in quite a while, like almost 2 months I think, so it's nice to actually have a book in my hands again, and I'm tabbing the crap out of it, so I am very excited. A lot of my tabs are like marks for like new information, or like mythological information that's important, and like descriptions and stuff like that that are actually like, because this book is so based in mythology, like I want to make sure I mark every single point where there is information about the mythology present in the story. So there's a lot of like green tabs I have, because all I have right now are green, pink, and blue, and I'm actually running low on my pink and my green because I use them so often in this book. But I have more tabs, so the color's probably going to change as far as what I mark for my mythological information notes. So yeah, I'm not writing in it though, because what I like to do with my physical books is, especially if I'm reading it for the first time, I like to just tab them
just so that I have an idea of like what is going on with the book. And then if I love it enough and I want to reread it, then I will go and start doing the annotations, because like I did with Renegades in February, I loved the book so much and I wanted to reread it for the booktube games, and I had wanted to make that as one of my first books I annotated because of the fact that I knew that I was going to continue to love it no matter how many times I read it. And I wanted to start looking at books that you know, I might keep in a personal library until I die, and then send them over to somebody that would want them later on. I haven't done that with any of my other books that I've done rereads for, specifically because I'm a little more hesitant to do that, because some of my books, like my Beautiful Creatures books and my Morganville Vampires books, I'm just still kind of too hesitant to, since I was rereading them for the first time since I was in high school, whereas Renegades, I had just read it in July and then read it again in February. So I felt like Renegades was easier to write in because I knew how much I loved it at the moment. But then Beautiful Creatures and the Morganville Vampires, I have to reread to understand if I still love them enough to where I would want to write in them in the future, if that makes sense. What I'm gonna do now is just sit and enjoy my morning, and I think upload my childhood Let's Play video since it is ready to upload, and read some more of Shah, because I'm very invested in the story and I would like to see how she kind of gets herself out of the sticky situation, because now she's going into a point where she kind of has to fight for her life in a way. Hey guys, so it is about 20 to 9 in the evening. Robert has just headed off to work, so I wanted to quickly update you guys with how my reading day has gone. So earlier today I read about, so far, 94 pages more of Shah and the End of Time. I am on page 152, I think, so I've made some really good progress. I'm almost halfway through it today. I think that Aru is definitely an interesting character, but I think I may like this other character, Boo, a lot more, mostly because he's kind of like, I don't know, he's kind of like the Zazu of this story. And I'm not just saying that because they're both birds, but this character, Boo, is very much like the Zazu of the story, because Zazu in The Lion King is like kind of snappy and witty, and he doesn't take nonsense lightly, and neither does this character, Boo. So I'm really enjoying it so far. And earlier today, Robert and I went and got groceries. We went and did our laundry as well. So that's basically what we've been dealing with the last like few hours. We also came home, we got dinner and we brought it home, and we were watching a few episodes of The Office. And now I don't really have any YouTube videos I want to watch. Like, I just checked and there's nothing really on that I want to watch. So I don't quite know what I want to do. I definitely don't want to do the things that I was supposed to do today, which was work on my book and do something for my freelance writing projects. I don't necessarily need to do it like by any specific day, but I would like to get it done, so I might push it off till tomorrow. So I think I'm going to rework my plans for tomorrow a little bit, since I still have the day off, but I'm pretty much going to be by myself the most of the day, because since Robert is working the late shift again tonight, he's not going to be up tomorrow until probably like 3 o'clock in the afternoon at least. So I want to get, you know, all my stuff done that I can before he gets up, so that I can spend the evening with him, since we both have the day off tomorrow. And then that way I can make sure like all the stuff that I want to do gets done, so I can just spend time with him, because I like spending time with him. And I feel bad that a lot of times when I'm home and he's home, like if I get home from work and he doesn't go to work till later, that the entire time I'm home with him, I'm just sitting and doing a bunch of other stuff, which is basically like every other night during the week. I don't know if I want to read or if I just want to like sit and binge watch a playlist of videos that I've seen 50 million times again, or if there's something else I want to do. I'm kind of just, I don't know, like I'm not bored, but I don't know what to do. So all in like the 10 minutes that it took me to make that list, basically, I don't really know what I'm going to do. I know I'm not going to read tonight because my brain is kind of at the point where it's too tired to want to read. Like, I know if I try to read, and there I go yawning, but I know if I try to read Shah right now, I'm going to definitely fall asleep on the couch, and I don't want to do that. So I think I'm just going to put a playlist of some YouTube videos on and just get into some pajamas and just lay down and not really do much, because I'm just too tired to, I think, focus on anything like fully, like a book. Because for this, I really want to pay attention to it, because I have the second book as an arc that I'm reviewing. So I want to pay attention to the first book and like have my full attention to it.
But I think tomorrow I'm gonna end up doing a lot in like the morning and part of the afternoon, to where the rest of the afternoon and evening I can probably crank out the last 200 pages of this book. Good morning, everyone. It is about 10:22 in the morning. I've just woken up and made myself a cup of coffee, and I was gonna get started early this morning, but on my days off, I have a hard time finding a reason to get up at like 8 o'clock in the morning. I still have quite a lot of things to do today, but I think I'm gonna start the majority of them once it hits like about noon, because I am a little too tired to do them now, and I kind of want a cup of coffee before I actually get through a lot of them. So I think about after lunch I'm going to get started with like recording my videos and doing my rewrites and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do now, though, because I have quite a few hours before I have to do that, is I actually do want to read more of Shah. So I'm going to sit here and enjoy my cup of coffee and read through some of that this morning. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it has been raining off and on today as I've been reading, and it is so nice. I love when on my days off it rains because it's so calming and it's the perfect day to do some reading. I'm very, very happy with how today has gone so far. So it is 1:40 in the afternoon, and I've just finished Shah and the End of Time by Roshani Chokshi. Oh my freaking god, I loved this book so much. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars, and it was just so delightful. So I've before read Rick Riordan's The Kane Chronicles series, and I absolutely loved them. They were so good and witty and funny and truly enjoyable, and this is no different. I totally understand why Rick was so impressed with this story to where he wanted to use it within his own kind of like imprint, because it's so delightful. It teaches about Hindu mythology and warps it in a way that's not unbelievable. The way that Roshani writes this is that she, just like Rick does, she takes the mythologies and stories based in Hinduism and really creates a story that works with these mythologies. It's not completely out of the realm of Hindu mythology. It doesn't feel like it's fake. It truly feels like something that would become a Hindu myth within itself. And I really loved it. I loved that there were so many really funny characters within it. Even the smallest interactions with different characters were hilarious. Boo is one of my favorite characters of all time. Like I said before, he is very much a Zazu character and is just absolutely amazing. I love him. He's so funny, but he's one of those characters where he's like, you're doing all of this wrong and you're making a fool of yourself kind of thing. I just adore him. He's funny. And then Minnie, I kind of get annoyed with her sometimes, but it's because she's incredibly neurotic, and that's kind of how she was raised, but she has a lot of depth to her, and I really enjoyed that. And Aru as a main character, I will admit, was a little kind of on the nose for me as far as a 12-year-old, where she's trying to impress everybody and wants everyone to like her, which is very much every 12-year-old girl, so I couldn't be too mad at that. But she does grow tremendously, I think, in this novel. I think that there's a lot of growth that has been done just in this first novel, and I'm excited to see how in the Song of Death that continues, because there is a lot that's going on now that has basically been sprung off with the end of this one. I know that in the Song of Death there is an entire plot where she's starting to grow a crush on a guy, which is going to be interesting because I don't think I've read very many middle grade based novels that talk about like first crushes and stuff like that. So I'm excited to see how that plays into the Song of Death. And then there's also the idea that while in this book Aru meets one of her sisters, there is the idea that there is going to be more sisters, I think, involved with this one. I think in the second book I saw something where they're going to meet at least one more sister, maybe the rest of them. I'm not sure. I know that there's supposed to be 4 books in the series. So I'm very excited to continue reading the second book later today, but it is actually almost 2 o'clock, so I am getting kind of hungry, so I'm going to make some food. And then I still have to do the other videos that I wanted to do today, so I'm going to take a break with reading today. Hey guys, so it is currently about 5:23 in the late afternoon, evening. I just finished doing all my recording for today, so I have something I've been thinking of actually, and I was talking just a little bit in my Sims video as I was recording it, is the idea of having more Sims series and coming out with other gaming videos, because I've recently been getting a lot of games on my computer for like free, and they're like games that I've been wanting to play for a long time, but I had never really gotten the chance to play because I couldn't get them. But I've been thinking of going back to playing games on my channel for a while because I always used to love doing it, but then my computer had crashed and then it took forever to like get it fixed, and then I couldn't have it in my apartment that I had on campus in the fall, and then I was looking around a lot for jobs in the winter, and then I moved here, and I just haven't had a chance to really get back into playing games. So now I realize is a way better opportunity for me to, and especially if I bulk record videos on Sundays, it's easier for me to actually have time to play the games and stuff like that. And so I wanted to know if you guys would like for me to come back with those. I want to do some more Sims games, a lot more Sims series, excuse me, where especially one I was talking about in my Sims video that I just recorded was that I wanted to do ones specifically based on completing aspirations, because I haven't really done that. I don't focus on the aspirations in my series, like my story-based series, unless it's pertinent to the story. Like in the Childhood Friends, I don't focus on the aspirations at all. Like I just barely like notice them at all, and I actually want to maybe do a series where I focus on Sims actually completing their aspirations, like within a couple episodes or something like that, and like building a story around that for each of those Sims. So I don't quite know how that's going to work out as of yet, but I'm hoping that I can figure that out here soon if you guys are interested in it, because I would like to see if people would even want me to do something like that. I don't think I want to do any Sims-based challenges. Like I tried the 100 Baby Challenge and that didn't work, and it was just way too hectic because basically I ran myself into a hole with the 100 Baby Challenge. The Black Widow Challenge I didn't really like either. I kind of felt it super repetitive. Even though I liked watching people play it, I didn't like doing it myself. And then there's other challenges where I just don't want to do. Like I tried the 4 Immortal Sisters Challenge, but I think that at that point my computer had crashed, so I couldn't do it, and I just never got around to going back to it because I didn't really care for the premise of it anyway. It kind of felt like the Black Widow Challenge and the 100 Baby Challenge and the same thing, and wasn't that great. So I don't think I'll do challenges anymore, but if there's anything specific that you want me to do with The Sims, other than a challenge, like a story or something like that, that would be cool. I don't know if I'll do machinimas. I've thought about doing one for a while, but it takes so much time to even create a machinima that it would take me probably at least a couple of weeks to get it all figured out, because of the strained amount of time that I have to do anything like that. I basically have the rest of the evening now for whatever I want to do. I think I'm gonna maybe start making dinner here pretty soon, but I think after that I'm gonna focus on hanging out with Robert, and I may even try to get through some of Shah and the Song of Death, because I really want to get into it. I really loved how Shah and the End of Time ended, and I just want to jump right into the next one because I'm just too excited. I can't put it off for the rest of the night. Hey guys, it's I think almost 11:30 at night, and I totally forgot to tell you guys what I ended up doing tonight. So I did not end up reading anything after dinner because Robert and I got a little invested in watching the Da Vinci Code movies. We found out though that Netflix only had the first 2, and so then we decided to watch The Office afterwards. So we didn't really do much other than that, so I did not get to end up reading any of Shah and the Song of Death. The next time I probably will be doing one of these vlogs is basically going to be the start of the booktube games, or the biblio games, excuse me. So I will see you guys in that, but that's pretty much the only other time I'm going to be doing vlogs is for that, because I'll be doing those all throughout the month. So I think the first vlog for that, though, is going to be a weekend reading vlog of like the 31st of May, June 1st, and then June 2nd, and then starting off properly with a reading vlog from Monday to Sunday of June. So anyway, that's pretty much it for me tonight. I need to go to bed because I have to work tomorrow, but I wanted to let you guys know what exactly happened before I forgot. So anyway, I will talk to all of you guys, excuse me, in my next video. Bye guys.